Okay, welcome to another episode of Conversations with Dr. De Silver, the TV show where your voice matters. This is a show where you're not going to be seeing any celebrities or athletes or politicians coming on board. It's going to be everyday people, people that you consider your neighbors, people in your community, and so on. And if you have, I asked my guests, if you had not 30 minutes of fame, but maybe an hour of fame, 45 minutes of fame, what would be your message that you would want to leave people? Or what are you really passionate about? So you're going to have various different guests here talking about some really wonderful things, giving them exposure and sharing some wonderful information with you as well. And I always believe that, the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country could do for you, but what you could do for your country. I say, hey, what can our community do for each other? Because at the end of the day, that's what really matters, and we got to be there for each other. So here we are. And today we have a repeat guest, good friend of mine, Haim. Haim, welcome again.
Welcome, and I'm glad to be on your show.
Well, good to see you again, Haim. So, Haim, what are we talking about today? What's the topic?
How to make change in life.
How to make change in life. Okay.
All right. This is area that many people don't like.
And what do you think they don't like it?
People don't like change because the first thing in our mind is to go back to safety.
I can understand why that would be.
Now, when you go back to safety, you come for something that you're familiar, and there is no surprise. Yeah. So when we have a change, it's all the time it's the unknown. Yeah, and we're not comfortable with unknown, of lack of experience and it's a lot of fear in there. Fear and doubt.
Fear of the unknown. Yeah, that's the saying.
So when it change, that's what it change. Yeah. When the average person, when we talk about change, what is that you change? You change something that works. You change something that doesn't work. You change something that is not in use anymore. It's old. It's out of style.
It's outdated.
It's outdated. Yeah. And that's what we change. Yeah. So when we look at that and we reflect on ourselves, just mean, wait a minute. I'm not broke. I'm not out of fashion. I'm not out of style. I'm all that negative connotation attached into that. So why to change? Let me stay where I am, what I know, what is familiar, what is comfortable, and I'm good. Yeah, why to change?
Exactly.
This is one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, which is mean, we want to have more. We want to get ahead. We want to be successful. We want to have what the Joneses have done. And that requires change. You can, if you want to have something that you didn't have before, you need to do something that you didn't do before. And this is the scary part, that many people say, wait a minute, I don't know how is that going to work for me. So I stay where I am. I'm comfortable. I don't want to change. And in a way, you can say people stuck. I don't say people stuck. I say people don't move. They stay still in one position, but there is not the essence of life. I mean, we're looking to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can stay in the same place and not moving. If I use this metaphor, which is, if I take you from this point and I lift you up to a place where there is no gravity, and I will hold you there for 2-3 hours, right?
Okay.
When I put you back to gravity, we're not going to land on the same spot. We're going to land behind because the earth is still moving.
Right.
Now we need to run to catch up. So we all the time running after, and we can get it because we don't like the change.
Right. It's, and I'm sure you've heard this before, many of you have heard this as well. It's a paradox, but the only constant in the universe is change, right? The only constant in the universe is change. Some people may look at it, how can something be constant and changing at the same time? But it's true. That's the only thing, whether people like it or not, change is going to happen. Whether you're ready for it or not, it's going to continue moving. So there's some people that believe in the philosophies like go with the flow, and there's some people that like fight the change. And there's, I guess, a consequence. There's a consequence to everything. The consequence with going with the flow, there's a consequence fighting against the flow, fighting against the change. So there's certain ramifications that some people that choose to fight a particular type of change, either because, like you said, fear, because it's the comfort zone, which we've talked about this many times on this show and various different, for other topics and so on. Stay in your comfort zone, why it's safe and why it's, it's maybe more comforting than pursuing something that you got to move.
Yeah, and that's what you say. You're 100% right. Yeah, and we don't want to have the consequences, but we have them. And when we have them, you say go with the flow, which is mean somebody has to lead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we all the time follow other. We don't want to lead.
Why do you think people don't want to lead, Chaim?
People don't want to lead because of the responsibility that's involved in that. And what I'm saying here, it's if we can play with the word responsibility, I say cut it in the middle and reverse that.
Explain.
Which is mean you're able to respond.
Okay.
This, when you take the word responsibility
Able to respond, I like that. Okay, gotcha.
and you're able to respond. When you're able to respond, people are going to give you more credit. People are going to give you more mission. People are going to commission you all kind of stuff to do because you're able to respond. What we do, we take the word responsibility and we throw it on people. It's your fault. So that's what happened. People don't want to have this responsibility, then everybody going to blame them. But if you take it in the other way around, you're able to respond, which is mean you face something and you know how to get out from that. Now you can lead. When you lead, people will follow you. Because what you do is not, they're not there to do. They have something that's holding them up. And what is that? It's very simple. It's experience. More experience we get, we know how things work.
Right.
Yeah. Now, to get experience, you just to do things. Whatever is that, you start to do it. Yeah. Now you know how is that work.
And it's interesting that you said that because experience, we talked about that as well in other shows here, but experience also does a couple other things. It also builds your confidence level. And if your confidence level increases, also it combats the fear. That what makes, a first time, amateur actor, or actress, as opposed to like many years of after experience, the confidence level is such a high level that whatever fear that they had initially is pretty much non-existent at that particular time.
Well, you don't fear what you know. You
Right.
fear what you don't know.
What you don't know, yes.
Yeah. Now to fear it what you don't know, if you use the word the first letter F and translate into faith, there is no fear. If you have faith, there is no fear.
Right.
When you have fear, which means you don't have faith, and you don't have faith in yourself. It's not anybody else. It's you there.
Right.
When you don't have faith in yourself, you have fear. Now, when you take action, when you get experience, and now different thing came along, which is people say, "Look, I don't want to fail. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to be. I don't do anything wrong. And here is the thing: you will never fail, you will never make mistake, and you will never do anything wrong. When you do something, no matter what is that, you get experience. Now, when you do something, you get result. The results that you get, there is two ways to look at that.
Okay.
Either it's work or it doesn't work. There is no in between. I mean, you do something, it's work or not working. If it is working, keep going. Keep doing that. You got experience, it's good for you. You got what you want, keep going. If it doesn't work, you did something that didn't work to what you wanted to be, but you have some progress. You move ahead a few steps more than that. You move something forward toward what you're looking for. It didn't go all the way, but it goes some way.
Right.
Right? Now the question that you ask yourself, if I want to keep doing that, according to the result that I get, so what I need to tweak, what I need to critique, what I need to look to make it better, yeah? Or, look, I did it, and I didn't feel good about that, so it's not for me. I don't want to do it. But that's come from experience. Now you know. You never have fear, and something that you know, that you get result. So you did something that didn't work. You didn't fail. You didn't make a mistake. You didn't do anything wrong.
You know, it's interesting because we live in a society, right, that the connotation of the word failure, people want to stay away from that because of what it means and what it stands for. So what you're saying is pretty much looking at it from a different point of view, a different perspective. You don't see it as failure. Like some people say, there's no such thing as mistakes, only lessons. So from, either you do something and it works or does not work, as you said, there's nothing in between, but you're gaining experience. As you're gaining experience, so it's you're decreasing your fear on it as well. But at the same time, you're realizing, okay, so I learned something from that. How do I, like you said in your own word, how can I tweak it to get to that goal, to make it work? So if you look at it from that point of view, there's really no failure. There's only, lessons, or you're learning and you're getting more experience to finally get your ultimate outcome, to make that, work where it wasn't working before. So it's a spectrum, right? And so it's a good way to look at it, and I believe that if people see it from that point of view, they may be more willing to take those risks, because people say fear of failure, right? Sometimes it's also the fear of success, because if you have a fear of success, because you get to a certain point, people expect more from you, so some people may get that point of view from that aspect of as well. But from what what you're saying here is it's just basically it's the way you perceive things, and if you perceive failure to be something that like you don't even want to try because you don't want to associate anything with that particular word, what it means, it stops you from making that change that you're talking about here.
I want to go back to the two key points. Is the word fail.
Mm-hmm.
I play with that a little bit, and here is what I came up with. Take the letter, it's F-A-I-N-L.
Right.
That's fail. Let's take the